For years, the Freeman has brought you Know Your Candidate, your trusted platform to meet the candidates, hear their plans, and get the answers that matter. Your vote shapes our future. Stay informed, stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate, only here at the Freeman. The May 2025 election is just around the corner. Do you really know the candidates who want to lead you? For years, the Freeman has brought you Know Your Candidate, your trusted platform to meet the candidates, hear their plans, and get the answers that matter. Your vote shapes our future. Stay informed, stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate, only here at the Freeman. The May 2025 election is just around the corner. Do you really know the candidates who want to lead you? For years, the Freeman has brought you Know Your Candidate, your trusted platform to meet the candidates, hear their plans, and get the answers that matter. Your vote shapes our future. Stay informed, stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate, only here at the Freeman.
Be part of the conversation, protect the Cebu vote. I'm Fred Langido, and this is Know Your Candidate, an election special of the Freeman and Banat News to help you make the right choices. Who among the candidates deserve your sacred vote? Let's get to know them up close and personal. And joining us on the show is one of the congressional candidates for the South District of Cebu City, former Congressman Rodrigo Bebot Abellanosa. Congressman Abellanosa, welcome to the Freeman.
Thank you very much, Fred, and I am glad for Freeman to invite me over for this conversation this afternoon. And I know this is live streaming, and this will come out in the news, so I am imagining all the people of the South District as our audience this afternoon.
Definitely. They should be watching you. How are you, Congressman Abellanosa?
Okay naman ba, Fred? Kaya we've been going through this campaign, and this is my 7th campaign as a candidate. And of course, we're getting used to this all this time, all these years.
You've been a part of the House of Representatives for 3 consecutive terms.
That's right.
And then, for a while, ni suway ka og papili sa posisyon diri sa Dakbayan sa Subo as Vice Mayor, right?
Actually, the plan was for me to run for mayor, but of course, plans change, so nothing is permanent about plans. So it was a bit awkward on the part of the BOPK that I was not a candidate, and Tommy Osmeña also was not a candidate in the last elections. That's kind of weird. Murag gitagag partida ba atong katbang.
So, kumusta unsa may nakapabisi nimo after your stint in Congress, and then for a while ipahuway ka for a certain period of time, then karon mo balik ka. Unsa nakapabisi nimo during that time?
Actually, wa mo gyud mo pahuway, no? Because we're so focused on things that we can do for the community. I never stop thinking, and I never stop visioning what can we do, because there are so many good things that I really did start and finished, and there are things that are quite bitin. So many of us, our constituents, for example, from the mountain barangays, nangutana sila nako nga mas mayo unta, or ni-suggest sila nako mas mayo unta kung mga operational gyud ang hospital dito sa mountain barangays, no, nga actually natukod na nato ang hospital building good for 100 patients. In fact, na-procure na gay nato through the Department of Health ang 100 beds o mga equipment. All that was needed was legislative action. Pero what na yun ako mahuman. No? So that's something that I'm looking forward to.
So you're referring to the guba?
No, it's not guba. It's the one in the Sitio Maumawan in Barangay Babag.
Okay.
You know, Barangay Babag is kind of
guba, no?
Yeah, it's in the South District. No, it's kind of central to the mountain barangays because doon diha, Fred, no, ang barangays pong Olsibugay, Botaop, ng Bunbun, Sudon 1, Sudon 2, na diha ang Sinsin, na diha ang Botaop, o ang mga sikbit nga mga barangay, na diha ang Malubog, sa norte na pero naragin na sa atbang sa Babag, ya unahan, to Tap-Tap, and then napo dito ang southern barangays nato sa Tagbaog, Tabunan, sa Adlaon, Siraw, familiar siguro ka ani mga barangay. All of these barangays, proximity-wise, emergency-wise, mura o maka-benefit gud sila. No, dili kay mura but definitely maka-benefit gud sila ni ani. So just like what I did diha sa maong barangay, no, which I considered central sa mga mountain barangays, especially sa South District, nga nabuhatan jud akong balaod Republic Act 11185 creating the Cebu Technological University Mountain Campus, no? And this is the only CTU in the whole province of Cebu that is really situated in the mountain barangays. So what was that for? Siyempre, kay bao ko, no, when I was serving as congressman nga, it would take about 500 pesos back and forth for the transportation of students who study here in our downtown universities or colleges. Unya, akong gikwenta-kwenta in one semester, mugasto ang maginikanan og 50,000, mas mahal pas bayranan sa usa ka semester sa tuition fee. So, layo man sila sa university, I used my being a congressman pag-create sa university by way of enacting a law that was sayo na kayo na ito istoryahon, pero kibaw ka, the legislative process is very meticulous. No? Gikan diya sa committee level, sa House of Representatives, o niya maabot dito sa plenary for debate, and then approved na finally in a vote by all the representatives, and then before it can go up to the Senate for the same processes, and then finally kung okay na ng duha, magsabot pa na sila unsaon pag agree sa mga versions sa bicameral conference before it goes to the table of the president for his signature. And when it is there on the table of the president, you know, it's 50-50. 50-50, it can go to the trash can, or it can go all the way for the benefit of the people. And I am proud, and I should say, let me be clear about this, that's one thing that makaingon ko nakatabang si Presidente, former President Digong Duterte ini nga aspect, siya ni pirma. Nahimong balaod. So, since that time, until this time, operational ang maong university by virtue of the law that I made, and it has benefited already many of the constituents in those mountain barangays nga nakagraduate sila, nangahimo naging maestra, nangahimo ng mga IT professionals, and some of them are even working abroad. It could have been impossible for them to study without enough money to go to colleges and university. Padul-ana nato ang university, gipalibre pag yun nila ang pag-eskwela. So it's something that will be there, no, for the years to come. Whether I'm the congressman, if I'm going to succeed or not, it will always be there. Now, I'm looking at the university hospital there that will become the hospital of the mountain barangays. It's made, it's done already.
The building is there already.
It's there already. The equipment, the beds are already there with the CCMC. We just need to move this over when it becomes operational. So, what will make it operational? We need a guaranteed annual budget from the national government. That's why it needs a law.
Okay. I understand, katong imuhang gi-mention nga CTU campus sa Mountain Barangays, maybe that is one of your, that you considered as milestone in your stint in Congress, no? What are the other laws, if there are any, that you consider as your milestone in Congress?
There are many laws that I was involved on a national scope. One of which is the universal health care, which provides for free medical attention, especially atong mga taong dili maka-afford og hospitalization og tambal. And then there was also this universal tertiary program to make it free to study in public colleges and universities. So that's why libre na ang sa UP, CNU, CTU, and other state colleges and universities. I was part of that Congress that approved it and that created that law. But what I am really very proud about is, ang ako yung gilegislate nga solo flight gyud ana.
Ikaw gyud mo i-mail.
Di man mahimog na mo appeal nga laing congressman kay imo hamaning distrito. Just like Republic Act 11185, the creation of the city and the university in the mountain barangays. This Republic Act 11189, silingan ra kayo, no? 11185 o 11189. I will explain to you later nganong silingan na silang duha.
Sige.
What is this 11189 nga balaod? Which went through the same process that I have explained earlier. Mauni ang pagpadako sa St. Anthony Mother and Child Hospital dias Barangay Cabreros. Basak sa Nicolas, Sitio Cabreros. Cabreros Street, dias Tagonol. No? Pag congressman ako, kibaw baka nga 25 ra gyud ang bed capacity sa mong hospital. Only 25 patients. Magkomedya bitaw ko nga when I studied that hospital because it was in my mind that I need to expand this hospital. Kaya nakadaghan na biya ang mga buntis. No? So I was able to increase it by way of legislation from 25 to 200. So as a consequence of the approval of that law, the enactment of that law, napadakan ng hospital. Napuna ng beds, ang rooms, napuna ng mga medical staff, doctors, nurses, napuna ng medical supplies, ang equipment, o ang MOOE, no? That should be able to take care of at least 200 patients every year. So that's one that I have created. Now, ganong 11185, 11189, gamay radyo kayo, sabay-sabay na akong gitrabaho. So I don't want nga kinilang sa niya para sunod na lang ng usa para pirmi kung dunay mapresentar dito sa publiko nga nakoy gitrabaho, no? If I can do all these things at the same time and deliver the benefits to the public at the same time, why not? And I was able to do it. Kana.
So gidungan nimong duha di ay sumawning.
Yes.
Silingan ng number ini. So kining duha mo ni imuhang gi-consider nga milestone nimo sa imuhang tulo ka term sa Congress?
Actually, napagyudaghan.
Unsa man?
On my very first term, this is not legislation, but this is one of the things that a representative who does his homework can do. First term pa lang nako, Fred, 2013 nga to 2016, I was able to deliver 44 ka mga school buildings for our public elementary and public high schools in the district. Yes, Opera. Familiar kita ka ng 4-story building diha nga na ay green, light green nga accent. That's one of the 44. Dito sa Guadalupe Elementary School, diha sa Ramon Duterte National High School, diha sa Gotong Memorial High School na iduha diha, Vicente Rama National High School na iduha diha, dito sa Pardo, dito sa Kiyo, dito sa everywhere, all over, 44 school buildings worth 3 billion in my first 3 years. So, makaingon gani ang uban, karon na pa ba? Murag, wa sila nakita, zero.
This is from your legislative fund.
Not from the allocation, because there's yes, you're right, there's like an allocation per district that we also fight.
And they call that pork barrel before, but
pork you know what the reason why it's called you know why it's called pork barrel? Because many sadly many congressmen, representatives, even senators make use of these funds for some other purposes and reasons. But me, I am so focused, so I didn't mind if this is a budget of DPWH, and during that time, on my first 3 years, is the Department of Education. So I was a constant visitor of then Secretary of DepEd, Armin Luistro, if you remember him. And then we became close friends, and I always brought to his attention that, okay, this school, look at the figure. I present figures. You cannot just go there and mamaray lang kadritso dito matagay kung building diribi para ning eskwelahan. You have to present figures that the number of students in this school is this number, and then the buildings that are there are no longer feasible for this number. So I am able to bring in these buildings in my first 3 years.
In other words, kakugi lang yun ang gikinahanglan.
Kakugi. Yeah, kinahanglan, you know how to use your being a legislator, because the General Appropriations Act is a legislation. And there's a process where the national departments, the executive department, will bring their budget to the committee, to the floor for deliberations, and I always make it a point that I am able to get from these departments for my district. I'll give you an example. Lawmaking is just paper, okay? And then when budget process comes, we make sure that there's ample budget for your legislation, like Republic Act 11185. The CTU University, I have to make sure that there will be funds for buildings. So when the DPWH presents their budget, I make a representation that we need these buildings, and they argue that there's universities, a lot of universities and colleges already in your district. Why do you need this? Then I make them realize, especially the members of the committee, that Cebu City is not like Makati or Manila, where everywhere is urban, where everywhere is really in the city proper. In Cebu City, more than 1/2 of Cebu City is comprised of mountain barangays. So it becomes a priority now. So I was able to build 5 buildings there that can accommodate as much as, or as many as 1,000 students at a time. And then, with regards to the land, because how can you build without the land? TIEZA, I learned, has a lot of lands there in that part of the mountain barangays of Cebu City. TIEZA.
Okay.
TIEZA. And then, of course, they want their budget approved. They need my vote. So I told them I need a land for the university.
Okay.
So I got it. And then here comes Shed. Oh, here you are. You're telling us that this budget you are proposing is to make higher education more accessible to the people. What is more accessible to our people when the university is right there in their backyard?
Correct.
So I was able to convince them, let's open a university there. Then I suggested, let CTU operate this university. And after that, everything is set there. All we need to do, that's why I want to come back, is to expand the operations of that university. And the CTU system is even thinking of putting the research center there, their scientists there in that campus. So looking forward that it becomes the nerve center of the CTU system.
It's just a matter of knowing how to use your power. The power of the purse sa Kongreso mo na gigamit ni Kong Bebot Abilionosa aron iyahang makuha ng iyahang mga nahimo diha sa Bukirang Barangay. But I observe, Kong, no, nga most of your kining priorities are within the realm of education and health, no?
Yeah.
I can understand ang education is close to your heart because you own a school. And ang health, nganong kining duha mao'y napili nga murag priority sa imuhang mga gipanghimo?
I coined it as health, education, livelihood, progress, infrastructure. Definitely, you know, there's a lot of people here, even if you're rich. May tabo, masakit ang membros pamilya, dagan ka dito sa mga private hospitals, okay pa siguro ang first admission. Makabayad pa kag 300,000, 400,000, even $500,000. But no poor people can afford that.
Correct.
So adto sila si CMC. The other option, or adto sa albularyo. So there are so many statistics there that we never learn because they never get to land in the hospital. So they just simply passed away. No? Dito na lang dito sa cemetery. No? So it's in my heart because I know how difficult it is because when I was a counselor for 3 terms for 9 years plus 2 years nga ni tiwas ko sa katong unfinished term of the late Councilor Eli Abellana for my whole 11 years. Ang mga tao, bigid kalikayan, daghan yung kayo manuuli mo magpatabang, parte sa tambal, parte sa hospital.
But before that, you started your political career in the barangay, no?
That's correct. For 11 years, I was a kapitan of Barangay Dulho Fatima. And mind you, I made the first barangay college throughout the country. Although it was a lot easier for me because I have a school that can connect with the barangay college, cooperation with the barangay college. Going back to your question, now, especially now, I consider myself, probably I have set enough foundations for free schooling in college, giving the marginalized folks in the mountain barangays a university that's free and that's very accessible to them. Now I'm focused on the hospital of the mountain barangays. I need to legislate on that, as I have explained earlier. Now I'm looking at the St. Anthony Mother and Child Hospital. I legislated it. It became 200 bed capacity. I want it to become a 500 bed capacity hospital by simply amending what I did already. Republic Act 11189, I will file an amendatory bill to increase its capacity to 500 so that more people who cannot afford private hospitals, where we can offer free medical accommodation and hospitalization and medicines and especially laboratory checkup. These are the things that are so prohibited nowadays.
But that's already a tertiary hospital, no?
It is. Yeah, but Actually, I included as part of of that law to convert it into a general hospital so that it's not just a specialty for mother and child.
Yeah.
But then 200 is not even enough for the mother and child needs. So I need to increase it to 500. Mind you, CCMC now, the capacity is only 150. That St. Anthony that I made, the law expanding it, it's good for 200 now, and we'll make it 500. And then there's one more. CCMC. You know, pila na kadungog kabasa diha sa daghang kay mga netizens, yung mga bright sad kayo, but I haven't really seen or come across any suggestion of a solution that is doable. What is a doable solution that, for that CCMC? Ako nakita, kaya ako ang point of view is, as a legislator, there's a big opportunity for us if we are able to make a law to convert it from a city-funded hospital into a nationally funded government hospital. And that should solve
just
the
like
problem on completing it and too much politicking in the CCMC.
Okay, so you, if ever, makabalik ka sa Kongreso, that will be one of your priorities, i-convert na to ang CCMC to a national
government hospital. Exactly. And I need a partner for that because CCMC belongs to the North District. That's the realm of, hopefully, of Mary Ann de los Santos. So I need North candidates to support Mary Ann de los Santos and to support a BOPK administration in City Hall because, in fact, I filed already a bill on that in 2021. I was still a congressman. I filed a bill converting the CCMC into a national government hospital, but it did not move because I didn't get any endorsement from the city mayor, who happens to be in the other party, and also the city council, who is dominated by the other party. So it's very important that for me to be able to do this, there are two things that should happen in these elections. For me to be elected and for the BOPK to be elected there in City Hall.
Pero, dili ba na siya mo go against the principle of devolution? I mean,
yeah, I know that.
Ang health man good, that has been devolved already to the local government.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, it happened even during all those times that I filed bills, and there are always reasons that this goes against. But we can always present a quintada of how much Cebu City has contributed or has contributed to the national funds. There is no clear provision in the Constitution that will prevent us from making it a national hospital.
Okay.
So you need some,
that would probably solve the problem og mahuman na ginang hospital nga dugay na gyud kaayo na kapinas na po katuig.
We are all aware of the corruption there. You know? You put a budget, and then some people gets a 40% cut. And then, siyempre, ang kontraktor, mabinlan na lang pila, 60%. Ang iyaha. So, yung tungaon. Pila na may bilin?
30% na lang.
30% lang may bilin. Kanya mo na lang na-i-apply. Mo lang din na ginamahuman. So, we have to have honest to goodness, administration in City Hall if it continues to be a city hospital. But if it becomes a national government hospital, that will be taken care of by the national government.
Pero sa imong tanaw, which is more advantageous for the CCMC to remain with the city government or national government?
Obviously, it's a very, very it's gonna be very advantageous if the CCMC will be operated by the national government because the national government has more money, has more funds. Panghatag na yan ng mga minilyon left and right, di ba? You know that.
I will talk about that later.
And then, that will also save some money for the local government because how much is the budget now annually? 1 billion, 2 billion? So that can be set aside for other purposes.
And maybe the
like
budget...
to fund the CHAMP so that those who will be admitted in the private hospitals will have funds.
Okay, that's good. It's the first time I heard na ibalik na lang na ang itugyan na to pagbalik ng CCMC sa national government kay mas tinuod, mas dagang pondo.
Dili siguro ngayon nga ibalik kay wa mo gid mahitabo nga na national hospital na. So ato lagi na nga di sa na yung nga itugyan, but we will ask the national government to fund it, to operate it. And then of course, the local government, there's no way they can set aside the local government. The local government can play a supporting role.
But for the national government to allocate funds, it has to be under the national government. So
and it needs a congressman to do that.
Mapugos yun ang local government pagtugyan na ng atos DOH. Dili lang kay supervision but an operation yun sa CCMC. Taod-taod naman yung tinuod na nga wag yun mahuman niya. Gamay kaayo ang ma-accommodate.
And then there's this thing about I'm just trying to spell out my dictum of health, health education, livelihood. People are so okay gani mga tao ron na ning livelihood assistance. Nga tag 4,000 ba na murag halos tanan taga 4,000 sa city government. But I just wonder where this money will be going, whether this will really go to livelihood of the people. For me, this time, what's 4,000? It will be very difficult for you to put up a barbecue stand with 4,000. And the people definitely can just not simply, okay, barbecue ko tanan. Lison manok na tanan. We need to be more creative there. So, L&P, Livelihood and Progress, I'm trying to put them together because I'm fond of convergence. Like what I said, I brought in DPWH. Instead of putting this in Barangay Hall, gym, I put them together with Chiesa Land, together with CHED, together with CTU, and put up a long-lasting and more useful infrastructure, no? I'm thinking of putting infrastructure with livelihood together. I did that actually in my previous terms. Kita ka nang diha sa Suba, Pasil, Sawang, nga waterfront, kung agi ka diri sa Bayadak, SRP to going to North Reclamation, kita ka nang murag. So, is this another version of Mactan International Airport? You see that? Yeah. That's my project. And my vision for that is to become a seafoods island. When we go out abroad, seafoods restaurant is one of the main attractions for tourists. They want to eat fresh seafoods. And Pasil, Suba, Sawang is known for that. They are known for that. So that's the infrastructure. And then there's a boardwalk component for that will go around along the coast of Pasil, Suba, Sawang. And then there will be vendors there. The stalls will be made available to them. And then we make a rotation of all these families to make livelihood out of this infrastructure. And then the tourists come, international tourists who don't want to be going through the mga sitio-sitio diha nga magian nila, gusto sila dito sa Seafoods Island. We can make them imagine that they're really going to the island. We're really bringing them to an island. About ang coaster bus, adto sa SRP, doon na tayo mga boats dito, and then mo kalit lang about, this is welcome to the Seafoods Island. Something like that. It plays out in my mind. You know, that's how I thrive. Gikan pa ta pobre sa dulho. No? Pero ang atong utok may kay mo andar. No? May kay ta mo imagine, may kay ta mo translate this into reality. That's one of the things I want to do it to continue. Because right now, why nahitabo? No, nobody wants to, even the city government doesn't want to do it. No? I'm saying this because there is a big project that a lot of people don't know. And this is the South Coastal Boulevard that runs from Tupas, then diha Tubangan, Sawang, padong Dulho.
Whose project is that?
Ako ana.
Imuhang project.
Ako ana. Nya mo tadlas diha sa Mambaling Access Road, padong sa SMC side man no? Then atubangan sa UC Mambaling, then diha sa Basak San Nicolas, Cogon Pardo, Inayawan, all the way to Talisay. It's a 4-lane na boulevard. 2 lanes going north, 2 lanes going south. And there's also a boardwalk component. The nice thing is that there's a big opportunity for it because wa pa may mga informal settlers diyan ipita. Ato na sulbaronon kini sa Dulho, Mambaling area. Well, diri sa Inayawan, Basak San Nicolas, these are all private nga mga
Is that part of your plan for for if ever, or naana na siya?
Already approved.
Okay.
I had 2 feasibility studies there because I divided it into phase 1, phase 2.
Okay.
When I presented the proposal to DPWA Central Office. This was during my 2nd term. I continued during my 3rd term.
Okay.
So walang kaya na nato gipagarpar.
So it was
because people cannot see it yet.
Okay.
Pero ma-feel na diha doon na yung mga sheet piles nga mga structure to separate the river, the body of water from the mainland. So the nice thing about this is when we are able to construct the boulevard, wala na mang labay o garbage diha. Wala na mang pataka lang diha o kuan sa ilang mga wastes. Unya ang ato diyang sapa mapalawman na para mas ma-efficient ang flow sa atong drainage gikan diri sa daan, gikan sa interiors padung diri sa dagat. And then the best thing is that we create a boulevard where people can stroll and watch the SRP like SRP nga kanang kompleto na nadalighang mga infrastructures, mga office headquarters, mga condominiums with all the lights that will reflect diha sa sapa. So maka-imagine ta massive nata Singapore nata Hong Kong.
That's an ongoing project na.
Yes, ongoing pero karon lagi di lagi kita may congressman.
Pero that was already funded. That was funded.
Yeah, you cannot fund it like one time because it's multi-billion.
Okay.
It will cost a lot of money.
How much is the?
So ang gibuhat nako was to provide for funding for the construction of the sheet piles.
By phase
1, phase 2. So basta aprobado na ang feasibility study, mo follow ang detailed engineering design, DED. Ang detailed engineering, ang feasibility study FS, ang DED were completed long time ago. 2nd term pa lang nako. So ang hinahinay na lang yudaha ang construction. So hopefully in my term, if I will be trusted with that again, I can continue with that and to champion it, and we can have that boulevard of dreams come true.
So, is that doable within 3 years, if ever?
Well, doesn't matter to me. Good if it can be done in 3 years. Good if it can be done in 6 years. Good. It can be done in 9 years, for as long as it can be done and completed.
But definitely, 9 years would be enough, no?
We can do it in 3 years if we are able to,
Pero pila project cost na imuhang projection?
I'm looking at 5 billion.
5 billion project. Locally funded na siya? Or
Yeah, not locally funded. It's nationally funded, government. Not by a loan.
Okay.
But by installment.
National government. Pundo na.
By installment.
Okay.
You know, the national DPWH is going for 1 trillion. We should get a big part of it, a big piece of the pie. We should. Because that's infrastructure that will provide livelihood, that will provide tourism, di ba? Sa turismo, na itrabaho. O it will provide livelihood and work for the people. You know, I mentioned to you how I did it. I was the first, or I was the congressman of all the congressmen and women of Cebu during my first term that was able to get the biggest single project. You know, unsa na nga project? Kanang tunnel. Diha sa Mambaling.
Mambaling tunnel.
Yeah, you remember that? It caused a lot of traffic when it was constructed, and I meant it to be a smart tunnel. But the budget was too high, and the technical feasibility was not so assured by the DPWH. We were able to construct big tanks underneath to put in water so that this can be a source of emergency water for firefighting or for watering plants. So that portion of the smart tunnel didn't push through, but the tunnel went through anyway, and it has become very useful. You know how I did it? I stood in the plenary, I stood in the committee when the DPWH turn to present their budget came. I stood not just for my district, not just for Cebu City, but for all the districts of the Visayas and Mindanao, because during that time, grabe kulilat yun ang Visayas ug Mindanao. No? Visayas, Mindanao, o niya sa North, sa Luzon, gibahin pa nila katulo. Northern Luzon, Central Luzon, o Southern Luzon. So they had 3 budgets for Luzon, 1 budget for Visayas, 1 budget for Mindanao, and I think we have only about 19%. Mindanao has about 20+%. So that's about 30 to 40%. Well, the bulk of the fund of DPWH went to Luzon. So I spoke there and I criticized it. And then, of course, everyone from the Visayas and Mindanao, ng mga representatives, they clap their hands because that's what you can see there on paper. Right there in the budget presentation. So, as a result of that, DPWH approached me. That's how it works, no? That's what you call horse trading. You know the term. There's a lot of horse trading in Congress, in the House and in the Senate. So, I was able to get that project, no? Kasi may akong makasabay atong panahon na, di ba? Gwen. Go, Gwen. Nakasuya ito lang tanan. No, I was able to get 1 billion for that project. But because gibidding man, I told the DPWH, my eyes are looking. Bid it properly. Walay pangwarta, di ko mangayo din unsay mga SOP diha nga inyong hisgutan. Nagdaog 680 million. So nakasave ang national government about 320 million. Otherwise, kung gi-rig pa to ang bidding, magdaog to sa 999 million 900,000. Bill na nalaga niya og 100,000.
So, at least, klaro imuhang direksyon nga nung mubalik ka sa Kongreso. Aside sa imuhang mga gihisgutan, expansion of St. Anthony Mother and Child Hospital, paghatag o pagtugyan sa CCMC ngadto sa national government aron mapunduhan, pag-expand sa pag-operate sa hospital dito sa Bukiran, pag-expand sa CTU dito sa Bukiran gihapon, unsa pay lain nga naa sa imuhang legislative agenda kun
I think there's a lot of there's a lot of food on my plate already.
Okay.
As I've said, I cannot even possibly do all these things in one term. But at least there's a clear direction. I'm not just thinking of ayuda, because that's the easiest thing to do. You do not even need a congressman to do that. There's this WD. There's DOLE. All you need to do is to make sure that these WD and DOLE are really granting this aid to the least fortunate among our brothers and sisters in the district. That's all you need to do. You don't need to politicize these things. No? So, karon, sad to say, murag the energy is spent so much on that.
Yeah, bitaw. I'm glad you mentioned that one. So, unsa may imuhang posisyon, anak? We have so much of dole outs. We have AIX, AKAP, and bisig unsa na lang nga ipanghatag. And to me, it's legalized vote buying. I would say.
Karong panahon na.
Karong panahon na. So, your thoughts on that? Himo kang...
I do not disagree with the ayuda. I even would support that people, ingana kadaghan ang kwarta, ingana mo pud kadaghan ang needy. Pero kay bawo kita kining mga constituents na to, daghan na nakadawat na. Wala na. So, aside from that, kinahanglan ang congressman should be working hard on ayuda that will really go a long way. Like creating public hospitals, free medicines, free laboratory checkup. This is the one that will matter most. Because everybody can get hit by this, by illnesses. And when that happens, may ayuda na yun nga makuha nimo. No? So, I don't disagree with that. No? Let's continue to have that. Pero ato lang yun ang klaruhon nga this will not affect. Not like what happened in the budget, the last budget process, where kitang-tang ang dako nga portion nga ayuda sa gobyerno nga to sa PhilHealth, kay ari agi diri sa kuan kay eleksyon. So that's not good at all. No, the motivation is vote buying. But if the motivation is really to help, that's good. But don't do it during this time. Okay, do it on a regular basis, like senior citizens. You want it to do it monthly? Let's do it monthly. You want it to do it every semester? Let's do it every semester. Nothing wrong with ayuda. People need help. But that should not be the only thing that a congressman should do.
Now, recently, if ever mo makabalik ka sa Kongreso, probably mag-tackle ninyo dito. But I'd like to know your position. Recently, sila si former Justice Carpio, former Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales, former election Chairman Christian Monsod, ni-file og petition before the Supreme Court to compel Congress nga ipasar na gyud ang anti-dynasty law. Kay for so long a time, wa daw ni aksyon ni gyud sa Kongreso. Your thoughts on that?
I agree with that. We should have that kind of law. It's already in the Constitution. It needs an enabling law, and I will support that enabling law to totally ban political dynasty. Because what's the purpose of having this term limit? So that others will be given the opportunity. You're not the only person who knows everything. I'm not. I don't have a franchise for all the talents that the district needs. So give everyone the opportunity. So younger people may need to come out, and even if you are poor, you have something to do for you can do.
Ka membro sa Kongreso kong for 3 consecutive terms. Nganong lisod ka ining ingon ni nga balaod nun mo lusot dito sa Kongreso?
Claro, obviously. Daghang mga political dynasties na aron diya sa lawmaking body. So, probably we need another Duterte. Or somebody like Trump.
Now, makapiog ka ang Bebot Abellanosa dito sa Kongreso, if ever, taliwa ni ining imuhang gibenson nga daghang mga political dynasties nga naaron sa Kongreso o sa Senado?
Dili ta kapiog. I do not pretend that na congressman ra kayo, just a representative of one of the hundreds of districts in the country.
So, real talk, lisod yun.
Lisod yun. But it can start from the top. If we have a president like Duterte, who has really the iron hand, who can wield real executive power, who can have influence over the legislative body, okay, you pass. It's an urgency. It's an urgent matter. No? You prioritize the passing of the anti-dynasty bill.
So kinitanaw nimo ani murag suntok sa buwan ning kuan kining mao nga bisan pag i-compare sa Congress. I mean ang legality ba can the Supreme Court compel Congress to pass that law?
It cannot be done because there's an equal power, no, between the three.
There's a separation of powers.
Separation of powers. It cannot be done. You cannot compel.
So lisod bisan pag kining petition nga ilahang gi-file sa Supreme Court sa pagkakaron, murag sa imong tanaw lisod. Og if ever maabot ka didto o niya matuki ni ninyo, bisan pag naay mga mga kongresista nga mo pabor ini, lisod gyud.
Parehara ko na nga dako na kayong utang syudad kaya itong kang Ralios. Wa mo gi mayor willing mo bayad. Bayad pero kasunod mayor na bayad.
Kung wa gi willing, apektado ang national interest.
So even if the Supreme Court will say you have to pass it because it's there in the Constitution. It's embodied that you have to pass it now. And then, nyaw-nyaw na. Pwede ka na madramaho na sa mga committee. No?
Yeah, that's reality in Congress. Okay. Your message to the people of South District, Congressman?
I do really hope nga ang atong mga kaigsuonan sa South District ilagi mo na og tarong kay kung madalang taan ni mga hatag og bugas gikan sa City Hall, hatag og mga livelihood assistance, hatag og mga ayuda, AX, AKAP, TUPAD, always remember that this happens most of the time during elections. So clearly it is meant, and these are meant to buy your votes. Maikog sabta sa atong mga anak. Maikog sabta sa atong mga apo. Nga basta-basta lang ingana ibaligya nato atong boto. Maybe dili ta conscious na nakadawata gipalit na dayta. Di man dili maayo nga maghudas ta nining panahon na. Sa matong Judas, storya ni Judas. Yang gibaligya ang Ginoo for 30 pieces of silver. And we are going to that reflecta karong panahon sa Semana Santa. In the coming Holy Week, let's reflect nga gibuhat ni Judas dili maayo. Sama sa dili maayo nga ibaligya nato atong boto tungod lang sa mga nadawat nato nga mga ayuda karong panahon na. Makonsensya ta alang sa atong mga anak ug mga apo nga kung magpadata dili ta magunahon og tarong, dili ta mopili og tarong. Base no niya og sama ra sa gibaligya nato ang Ginoo ngadto sa mga Hudiyo.
Thank you very much, former Congressman Rodrigo Bebot Abellanosa, for being on the show. Daghang salamat mga higala sa inyong pag-uban karong hapuna. Always remember, protect the Cebu vote. Know your candidate. Good afternoon. I'm Fred Langido.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
The May 2025 election is just around the corner. Do you really know the candidates who want to lead you? For years, the Freeman has brought you Know Your Candidate, your trusted platform to meet the candidates, hear their plans, and get the answers that matter. Your vote shapes our future. Stay informed, stay empowered. Catch Know Your Candidate, only here at the Freeman.